Raquel.
I'm Mary.
And we just have a couple community agreements before we get started with our presentation. Everyone can make sure that their mic is muted. Of course, if you need to speak, if you have questions or comments, you can unmute. And we just ask that you are kind, present, and mindful. So we're going to get into our agenda.
So we're welcoming you now with our introduction. And then we will talk about how we integrate ST Math in our classrooms, share some stories of our scholars and our teachers and the impact it's had on their education. And then talk about building student agency and the way that we empower our scholars. And we'll have time at the end for questions and answers.
So we want to get started with an inclusion activity just to see your thoughts and perceptions on ST Math. So on your screen, you should see a QR code, or if you could join us at menti.com and the code is on the screen. When you think of ST Math, what words resonate with you? And there are some thinking questions on the screen to kind of help you generate those words. So if you could join us again at menti.com or scan the QR code that's on your screen. And we got some answers coming in, so we'll share in a minute.
The code is 85512167 if you can't get the code.
And we got answers coming in. We'll give about one more minute. So we're seeing responses like problem solving, engaging, fun, GG, of course. What's ST Math without GG? No instructions, puzzling, curious. And these are all terms that are synonymous with what we see when we implement ST Math in our classroom. Visual, hooks learners, seeing GG a lot.
And engaging.
Mhm.
Engaging is the biggest, so.
Okay. All right.
Technical difficulties. So again, we're from Euclid Park School in Cleveland, Ohio. We are a pre-K to 8 building, although predominantly used in our building for K to 5. We are an urban district, 100% free and reduced lunch. So just kind of give you a background of what it's like. And our sky is actually blue like that right now for a change.
Right. And so we came into partnership with ST Math because we are Verizon Innovative Learning School. Is one of the perks. We have opportunities to access to partnerships that would not otherwise be available. So with our partnership, we got a full site 2-year license that was sponsored by Verizon. We have professional learning opportunities for the teachers and students, and we have meetings for goal setting and accountability. So in 2022, we officially became a Verizon Innovative Learning School, and ST Math was the result of one of our partnerships that we got. And so here is a little bit about us. On the screen is our vision and mission statement. So it is our vision that every day, every learner is an engaged participant at high levels of learning in a cultivating, respectful, and responsible school environment. And some of the terms that we just seen on the word cloud kind of hone in and pair up with our vision and mission for our scholars. Additionally, before deciding to officially get on board with ST Math, we had a meeting to make sure that the programs, benefits, and goals for our students were in alignment with our academic achievement goals. And so not only did we get partnerships with ST Math, there are a few others such as Discovery Education and Upchieve, and this is just those creative pathways to help our students become engaged participants. We were particularly fond of ST Math because it meshed well with our blended learning mechanism, which is station rotation, thus increasing the technology integration in the classrooms. And just like we've seen on the word cloud, that challenge and problem solving component. So we were really fortunate to gain a partnership with ST Math because it aligns with our mission and vision, as well as our academic achievement goals for our school. And now I'm going to hand it back over to Mary, our ST Math champion.
So you probably have heard throughout the day, but as an ST Math champion, I get the weekly and quarterly reports from ST Math, and the administration does too, in terms of our school usage. And then I take that information and try to, encourage the teachers, our staff to keep using it. We also have competitions to see who uses it the most and who, not only usage, but who solves the most puzzles. So I monitor the puzzle goal progress and the journey progress for the entire school. I model lessons if teachers need for different classrooms and the math talks. I take questions if I can, and if I can't find out, I know who to go to. And I encourage our celebrations. We have a lot of celebrations both in the classroom and throughout the school, which we'll be talking about in a little bit.
And I really would say too, the ST Math champion is instrumental in launching the program in general, really builds up the hype and starts the momentum for the implementation of the program. So here's a quote that resonates with us in terms of ST Math and the learners that we service every day. When students have a sense of control over their own learning, research shows that they may feel more connected to the material or project at hand and are more likely to persist longer at academic tasks and to process the information more deeply.
So at our school, in our classroom, these are some of the ways that we use ST Math. Through our puzzle talks, through our station rotation, our flipped classroom, for sometimes for review or sometimes for enrichment or remediation. So sometimes it's a standalone station. Sometimes if kids finish early, often if kids finish early, they're asking, can I go to ST Math? Can I go to ST Math? So that's usually a yes, or if there's time at the end of the day. And like I said earlier, right now, it's primarily our K-5 that's using it. Our middle has a lot of other programs that they're responsible for. So we don't get quite as much out of them.
Right. And then we'll just hear from some of our students on their views on ST Math.
ST Math is fun because we get to play a game also while learning how to do different math problems.
I'm Madison and I like ST Math because the math things that they do, like taking away, adding, or like making math mountains, it make me love it so much. So that's why I like ST Math.
My name is Kobe and I like ST Math because I get to learn and do fun math.
And so when Jim, he was our facilitator that came out for our first staff professional learning and how they introduced ST Math to us, I wasn't completely sold at first, but the kids advocate for the programs. And one thing that he mentioned to us is that kids are more conceptual than the adults. So when we did the challenges and the puzzles, the way that we attacked it is different. But we really do enjoy that the kids can, that a game can actually change their perception about math, because they all say they like it because they're playing and having fun. And whether they realize it or not, they are learning. And later we'll look at how that transfers over into the classroom.
So we find it's even better when we can kind of take the back seat and the students can lead the math talks. And we've moved to that point getting later in the year. The student engagement is high during this lesson. One of my fifth graders was leading it and everybody wanted to participate. So it just really shows how it's part of our, part of our curriculum now, how we use it in our classroom every day. And it really supports us in not only us taking charge, but the kids taking charge. I can't stop the kids from helping each other. I have to, and it's like every time we say, okay, we're going to do some ST math, they're looking around the room and who they can go to help them. But, that's a good thing. I mean, they can talk through it. So that's a positive.
And I don't know about you all, but math is not my strong suit. I'm more of an ELA gal. So the struggle is real, but in all actuality, this was one of my favorite graphs that we got from one of our reports talking about perseverance. And I think going back to the word cloud, I've seen the word engagement and motivation a lot. And so oftentimes as classroom teachers, we put some content in front of our students and we expect them to get it after one or two tries. But this graph, which is special about this graph is for our students at Euclid Park. It shows that the more attempts that students have, that they are progressing. And if you take a look, they're progressing rather quickly. So we really do like that ST Math has that productive struggle component. And as you heard from the students before, they are highly motivated and engaged to stick with it. So that's why we think that it's productive, because they're not giving up. They're looking for more creative ways, whether they're collaborating with their teachers or their peers to keep going. And you can see by the 10th attempt, we're already at 91%. So the more time that content is placed in front of students, they are showing more and more success. The impact that it has on our students, we have found it to be invaluable. This student in particular is one of our ELL learners. His family had transferred to our school and they had minimal knowledge about the English language. So ST Math became very powerful in the sense that lessons were able to be personalized and accessible for all learners. So when we talk about digital equity, not having the language to communicate skills that he may or may not understand, being able to put this information in front of him in a conceptual manner helped him achieve success in the same way that his peers was. And as I don't know if you can see on the picture, but he actually completed his path. And so he was super excited, building confidence there for this student. So that's one of our biggest impact stories there.
So we also find that ST Math helps build our student agency in terms of the students being able to be leaders, whether it's in the classroom or in other classrooms. Sometimes if I have fifth graders who are struggling, I'll say, well, grab my sixth grader who did this last year and, they can come over and help out. Also in this picture, that Gigi costume is you're available to get that to come to your school. And so one of our eighth graders portrayed Gigi, and then another eighth grader was Gigi's handler. And so that gives them just such a feeling of importance, leadership, when they have these little kindergartners and first graders running up and giving them hugs. And so it just helps them to kind of take a position of importance, even if they're not the best math student per se. And so between leadership, SEL, and student motivation, we just find it to be super beneficial to our students of all grade levels. And as I mentioned earlier, we like to have celebrations. So those might be something small in the classroom with a competition. Every week I post on the board who the high puzzle people were who solved the most puzzles for the week. We do that every Monday, and then they just get a little treat. We also have competitions between the classrooms, and we announce on the announcements every Monday the classroom that had solved the most puzzles, and it's amazing how much it changes. You know, 1 week it will be the 4th grade and the next week it will be the 1st grade. And it really moves around, I think, depending on teachers' time and students' time. But there's also the awards, and then of course the bragging rights, being the class. It's amazing too. I have a little stuffed Gigi, and Gigi goes to the classroom who solved the most puzzles, and they're so excited just to have Gigi for the week in their classroom. Some of the younger grade teachers have talked about the kids are like almost drooling on it on their desk or curling up and falling asleep. So no, I need 2 or 3 deep Gigi's for sure.
And one of our teachers actually went online and purchased their own Gigi for their classroom.
So these are just some pictures from some of our celebrations and our family engagement events. As Raquel said, Jim came to our school, has come here a couple times. When we first launched ST Math in our Villes program, he's been here for STEM night. He's been here for our back to school party at the beginning of the year. So he's really gotten to know us and our kids, and the kids look forward to seeing him. Setting up the Clever Touch and having a station where they can actually go and manipulate the game right there is always exciting. So it's been a very good connection. We feel very supported, and it's really been positive. Our Pie Night and STEM Night, we get a lot of families. So that's been a great way to share the program.
And kind of transition smoothly right into our next slide. So having the partners that are willing to come out to the building, it really helps with the homeschool connection, because not only are the students at the stations, but parents get that hands-on, minds-on experience at our events. And we have like tips and tricks and videos for parents to help their students, because sometimes the students will ask us for help and we are stuck as well. So just having those strategies to use to promote that productive struggle and not feeling like we need to give them the answers right away. And we use social media a lot to hype up like when Gigi's coming. So we'll have like a puzzle mania, and we'll do a countdown and highlight classrooms and students for any upcoming events or challenges that we have going on. And so enough from us. We're going to pause and just kind of we're going to let you walk through our ST Math journey with us.
Hi, I'm Miss Colleen Ross, and I teach 1st grade at Euclid Park School in the Cleveland Metropolitan School District. One of the reasons that I really appreciate ST Math for my kids is because it gives the kids an opportunity to think, make connections, to solve math problems. It gives them an opportunity to make mistakes and then try to solve those mistakes and find new strategies. It keeps our minds open. It keeps them working and thinking. And the kids really enjoy it, and they think Gigi's just the blast.
Hello guys, you might know us from the ST Math competition, and we are going to be talking about how it helps us with our MWEX scores and how it helps us in class. So I'm just going to be talking about how it helps me with my equivalent fractions. I was struggling a lot with my equivalent fractions until I start getting past my past on ST Math, and it actually helped me.
Hi, I like ST Math because it teaches me in a fun way. My name is Andrea, and I like ST Math because I can learn different ways to do math.
The benefits of ST Math. Students feel empowered. They love solving the puzzles. They also get more confidence.
When I'm doing ST Math, it challenges me.
The benefits is that like my scores have went up on NWEA testing. They grow 10, 12, 15 points. So I do feel like it is a necessity here in 2nd grade.
And you guys have heard quite a mouthful from us, so now we kind of want to hear from you. So feel free to unmute if you want to share any takeaways. Otherwise, feel free to light up the chat with any words or phrases, any overall takeaways you have from the video.
Somebody said that they love when Gigi visits, and there's an inflatable Gigi that's very popular that you might need to check out.
Yes, teacher buy-in is so important, and that's one of the things with having the ST Math champion is important to do that work, getting that teacher buy-in, because we do have some teachers that were not on board at first, but we have learned too that once the children find out about it, they will advocate for themselves. How do you get Gigi at your site, and does it cost? No, the cost is free. So we just reach out to our partners. For us, it's Chris and Jim. I'm not sure if that, Chris, you could kind of speak to that if it's different, but whoever is your partner, you just kind of let them know. Gigi is very popular and booked. So you probably need to book like months out, but we try to connect it with something that we have going on at school. But even when Gigi is not available, we've been able to get like some retractable banners and other little fun things that we could still have. Can you elaborate a little bit more on your station rotations and what students are doing in other small groups? Our teachers are facilitating an empty math group, or are they calling kids out and creating groups? So it looks different in class to class, especially in the lower and upper primary. I know in Mary's classroom, they have actual table tents that describe what they will be doing, and ST Math is kind of like a standing station in her station rotation. And for what I have seen, some of the teachers will use like the puzzle talks to introduce kids to a concept, and they kind of work through it collaboratively in their station rotations. And then there's a point where there's a teacher-led station. You can kind of address the misconceptions or get ideas on what the students are thinking about.
Yeah, so it really varies, I think, by grade level and also what you're working on. Because we're working on fractions now, and fractions was later on down the curriculum. So I went ahead and assigned it to the students, and we did a couple of math talks using that because it was conceptual understanding that they really needed at that point.
Yep. And so we do want to thank you all for your time. We like to end with the optimistic closure. So on the screen, you have 4 choices. We really love for some people to unmute and either share something that you loved, something that you learned today, anything that you're excited about launching, or just any questions or wonderings you have about how we implement ST Math at our school. So feel free to use the chat. If you are brave, unmute, and we could continue the conversation.
I'm hoping we can get Gigi to our district. We haven't quite met Miss Gigi or Gigi in general.
Yeah, definitely Gigi in general. Yeah, so reach out to whoever does your professional learning. I'm sure they should be able to coordinate something.
Skylar Steele, please come to the main office. Skylar Steele.
Obviously, we're still at school.
I would just like to say thank you for reinvigorating my enthusiasm, and we've had it in our school. I think we're in year 3, but it's just exciting to see people discovering it, working through. It's a wonderful program. It's a wonderful tool. So thank you for inspiring me and even more today. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. There was a comment about the upper grades and how to empower the upper grades, grade teachers to use the program. And we're kind of battling that too. And quite frankly, I was a slight bit disappointed that some of my 5th graders from last year didn't carry that through to this year, but I just feel like they don't feel like they have time because they have a lot of other assignments and activities that are expected in math. So that is a battle, not a battle, but something we're struggling with as well.
All right, and we're gonna hang out for a couple more minutes, but if you want to stay connected to continue to see how we use Gigi or what other things we're doing to promote ST Math, you can follow us on Instagram by scanning the QR code on your screen, and we'll be able to hang out for a couple more minutes if anybody else wants to unmute or ask any questions in the chat. And thank you all for joining us today.